So guys, welcome to another session of business studies with me. And we went through a long journey discussing different concepts of business. And now we come to that particular concept where we are going to touch about business activities. This is Vishwanath Jatan, and today I am going to present to you the further part of business studies for the 11th standard. We'll first start off with the classification of business activities. Okay, so what are business activities all classified into? If you see the classification properly, the business activities are classified into two main parts. One is industry and the other is commerce. Okay, industry and commerce. Okay. So let us understand what is an industry. An industry basically, if generally you have to explain this term industry, it is a group of firms together. Okay, now let us understand here what are the industries concerned with. Okay, first of all, there are certain industries which are concerned with the production and processing of goods and services. So what are they concerned with? Production and processing of goods and services. So these two go hand in hand. And of course, besides these are basically, you would always tell these are consumer items. And then we have also got industrial enterprises. Okay, we have got industrial enterprises which produce these goods and services. Okay, so this is industry for you. Now we come to commerce, and of course in commerce, what do we have? Like we have industrial enterprises here. Commerce, we have got commercial enterprises. Okay, so it's industrial enterprises here and commercial enterprises there. Now what does commerce do? Whatever these goods are produced and processed, these are sold by them. So what does commerce do? It facilitates the exchange of goods and services. Okay, so here it is produced, it is modified and finished into products, while as these finished products are sold. Okay, so commerce comes under that. Under commerce we have got commercial enterprises. Under industry you have got industrial enterprises. Okay, these are classification of business activities for you. I go a step ahead and tell you more about what are business activities all about. But before I tell you what is business activities all about, it is necessary to understand what is an industry. So I shall go into a little bit of depth with industry. Okay, so we understood there was industry and there was commerce. So industry is basically, if you tell what is industry or industry is all about, industry basically means all the economic activities which are connected with converting the resources into useful goods. So what can we say here? There is conversion which takes place. Okay, the raw materials which we get from nature, all these are converted into finished goods or useful goods for us. Okay. In this process, the production or processing of goods and services involves mechanical appliances or technical and professional skills. So what do? Okay, they require certain skills and they require the use of appliances. So you can tell use of appliances like machinery and equipment. And why this is needed? This is needed to convert these raw materials, into finished products. Okay, so this is industry for you, and it involves converting. Basically, what does it involve? It involves all those economic activities which do the conversion of these raw materials into finished goods. And for that process, we require machines, we require appliances, and this is where it comes. Okay. Now, when we talk about the industry, it includes a particular group. Like for example, we tell the cotton industry or the steel industry, the iron industry. Okay. So they all are group of firms together. Okay. And they are following the related activities. Okay. So say for example, it's a cold drink industry. So all those firms together will form the cold drink industry. Okay. Together they will make up the cold drink industry. Now we also go a step ahead and find out that these industries, they create what is known as form utility. What is the meaning of form utility? That means they give shape to the raw materials which is converted into useful goods. Okay, so this industry produces both commercial or consumer goods. Okay, and it also produces industrial goods. Okay, is this point clear? They produce consumer goods and they produce industrial goods. These industrial goods are also known as producer goods. Okay, so this is industry for you, and now I shall go through the classification of industry. I'm not going into the depth of the classification of industries because this is something which you have done before. Okay, so I'll just explain to you. Your industry basically will be classified into primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay, now let us first understand the primary aspect and then come to the other two, which is secondary and tertiary. Now basically these primary industries, they make use of whatever is available on Mother Earth. Okay, what are the free resources which are available, and they convert it into finished product. Now let's take for example, your primary is converted into extractive and genetic. Okay, extractive basically means things like farming, because you plant the seeds and you get the produce, or you reap the crop. Okay, there is mining where we dig deep and we get metals and other resources. There is hunting where they get animals, and there is also fishing. So these are extractive. Okay, these are extractive industries, which is the base of which is a primary industry. Also, besides the extractive, we have got the genetic industry in the primary sector, and these basically breed. Like for example, there are nurseries, there is pisciculture, there is poultry farm. In the nursery, what do? They grow new plants. They try different research. They crossbreed, and there are different ways in which they grow hybrids. Also there is pisciculture. Pisciculture basically means is the rearing of fish. Now many of the farms which are not useful for agriculture are converted into rearing of various types of fishes, which is used for exports further and also for domestic use. And then we also have got poultry farm. So all these things are basically, they are rearing, they are breeding. Okay, so your primary is divided into two, that is extractive, and the other is genetic. Okay, so this is where we come to this. Now let us go to the secondary industry. Okay, in the secondary industries, we have got two main things. One is manufacturing and the other is construction. Construction is plain and simple because this is basically trying to raise your infrastructures. While as in manufacturing, you have got analytical, you have got synthetic, you have got assembling, you have got cosmetic, you have got processing. So these are different aspects which we have done time and often again. For example, in the analytical industry, you have got oil refinery, which from where crude oil is obtained. Then in synthetic, you have got you mix and you get a new product. Assembling is basically converting different products into one product. Okay, and cosmetics, where there are soaps, there are creams, there are beauty products. And processing is when the raw materials are converted into finished goods. Okay, so just repeating again, under the secondary you have got manufacturing and you have got construction. Okay, and under the manufacturing you have got analytical, synthetic, assembling, cosmetics and processing. Okay, so this is your classification of your secondary part of it. Now let's come to the tertiary part of it. Now tertiary basically means it helps the other two industries. Okay, tertiary industry basically is concerned with things like banking, transportation, insurance, advertising. These are also known as aids to trade or auxiliaries to trade. Okay, so this is your classification of your industries: primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay, from here we go a step ahead and find out what is commerce. Okay, we did industry, now we'll find out what is commerce. And commerce basically relates to all those activities which are related to buying and selling or providing services to facilitate the buying and selling. They all form a part of commerce. So all activities related to buying and selling or providing services to facilitate buying and selling. Why facilitate services? It could be transportation, it could be advertising, it could be banking and so on. Okay, now commerce acts as a link between the producer and the consumer. Today let's take for example, if a producer produces some goods. Okay, now who is going to reach that goods to the consumer? This is commerce which helps him reach the goods from his manufacturing unit to the place of consumption. Okay, so commerce serves as a link between the producer and the consumer. Also going ahead, commerce also helps to maintain the free and smooth flow of goods and services by removing all the hindrances in relation to people, place, time, risk, finance and transportation, because it provides services like insurance, banking, warehousing and so on and so forth. Okay, now let us understand that commerce includes two things. One is trade and the other is aids to trade or auxiliaries to trade. Okay, now we come to the word trade. By now you all must be knowing what is the meaning of the word trade. Okay, trade simply means sale, transfer or exchange of goods by the producers themselves or by the businessmen who are engaged in trading activities. And what is the aim? The aim is to earn profit. I just repeat again, it means a sale, transfer or exchange of goods either by the producers themselves or by the businessmen engaged in trading activities. And what is the aim? The aim is to earn profits. Trade removes the hindrances of person by making goods available to the ultimate customer or consumer. Okay, so what is produced will reach the consumer because of trade. Now, even the international boundaries are of hardly any problem, because we are used to getting things from anywhere and anywhere because of the smooth flow of communication and transportation. Trade also facilitates large scale production of goods. Okay, because the goods are sold. Okay, it's not remaining as stock. This helps the producer to keep on selling his goods at regular interval. Okay, So this is trade for you. Just repeating again, it's a sale, transfer or exchange of goods either by the producers themselves or by the businessmen who are engaged in trading activities. That means they are selling and buying. The producer is the one who manufactures and the businessman is the one who buy from him and sell it to the retailers or they sell it to the final consumers. Okay, and all these things they do to earn profit. Of course, it is very necessary. We spoke about the role of profit, and profit is very much essential for a business to carry on. Okay, trade also removes a hindrance of persons by making goods produced available to the ultimate customers. It facilitates large scale production of goods. Because of trade, the producers have got the courage to produce more goods. Okay, so I hope you've understood all these facts. Now we come to how would you classify trade. Now trade can be classified under two categories. One is internal and the other is external. Internal trade is also known as domestic trade. Okay, it's known as domestic trade, and in your domestic trade it's further divided into wholesale trade and retail trade. Now what is the meaning of wholesale trade? Wholesale trade basically means there is a person who is known as a wholesaler. He will purchase the goods from the manufacturer and then he will sell it to the retailer. The retailer will sell it to the consumer. So this is known as wholesale. Okay, we have some markets in Mumbai like the Crawford Market, and some places at Abdul Rahman Street where we get goods on a wholesale basis when we are allowed to purchase, and those rates are low, but you have to buy things in a bulk in order to avail of this particular lower rates. Okay, then your next part of your domestic trade is your retail trade, and retail trade is when the retailer sells the goods to the consumer. Okay, it reaches the consumer, he buys it from the wholesaler and he sells it to the consumer. Okay, we go and also find out what is external trade. Now external trade means it goes outside the boundaries of your particular country. Okay, your export is one such example, import is another example, and the other one is entrepot. Okay, so export basically is when we manufacture goods and sell it to some other countries, while as import is when we buy goods from another country. It could be raw material or goods, while as entrepot basically means that we are buying from one country, we might modify it and then we sell it to another country. Okay, so this was internal trade and external trade for you. I hope you have understood this point very clearly, that what is trade all about. Okay, from here onward we move further and we come to this term. As I told you, commerce is divided into trade and auxiliaries to trade. Auxiliaries to trade is also known as aids to trade, that particular mechanism which helps trade grow. Okay, now these are services which assist all trade and industrial activities. So they assist. Okay, next, they are an integral part of all commerce, in particularly business activity in general. So they have to be there. Where business is there, auxiliaries trade have to be there. Why are they there? They are there because these auxiliaries help in the smooth flow of trade, making buying and selling easier by removing all the hindrances of place, time, risk, finance, etc. Okay, so these are very useful aids to trade. Auxiliaries are also known as aids to trade. They help trade grow further. Let's take for example transportation. What does it do? It removes the hindrance of place. It transports from one place to another. Today, we are getting certain products from Amazon, Flipkart and so on, right to your doorstep from different places. This is only possible because of the good transportation facilities we have. Then we have got communication. Communication is a very vital aspect. Okay, the main cause of many problems is communication. If you are able to communicate properly, you are able to get your things done. Trade also requires communication. Then we have banking and finance. Okay. Now what do banks do? They provide finance to businessmen. They have, of course, they have got a lot of functions, but one of the main things is that they lend money to the businessmen in different means. Okay. So this helps the businessmen at times when they need money, when they want to expand business, and they have the capacity to do so, but they are falling short because they do not have finance. So banking and finance solves the problem of finance. Then you have insurance. Now insurance basically is taken because to ensure that if your goods are going from one place to the other, and if anything happens to the good, the full loss will come to you. But if you insure your goods, it will make good your loss. Okay, it will at least reduce your loss percentage. So if you have sent goods worth 1 crore, you can tell that insurance, the claim can be given up to 90 lakhs or 95 lakhs depending upon what is your agreement with the insurance company. So insurance removes risk, and there is warehousing, and warehousing facilities are required because nowadays the goods are produced in such a rapid rate. There requires some storage facilities, and warehousing facilities helps in this process. Okay, your next important auxiliary to trade is advertising, and advertising solves the problem of information. What does advertising do? It gives information to all the people who require it. Okay, and the consumers who do not know anything about this, they will find out and then they will come to it. Okay, from here onwards we go to what is known as business risk. Now this is a very easy topic and it won't take much of your time. Okay, remember, where business is there is risk. Okay, and the sole aim of any business is to earn profit, but there are a lot of uncertainties, there are a lot of things which might happen, undue events. I repeat again, because of the COVID incidences, there was hardly any business for all people around the world, and this was a big risk. What if someone wanted to expand their business from the month of March to June? Zero, nothing happened. Okay, so this is what is going to happen. The uncertainty of profits puts business at risk. Okay, and there are various types of risk. But before we go further, in a brief nutshell, let me explain to you what is the nature or characteristics of business risk. Risk happens due to uncertainty. We do not know how it will happen. There can be any event, there can be any calamity. Okay, we can never know that. And risk is a very integral part of the business. It will happen. Okay, like for example, suddenly a new product comes in the market. What happens to your product? Your product will take a back seat. That new product, if it has got better features, it is going to capture the market. Okay, so this is upon the nature and scale of operation. So if your scale of operation is huge, automatically your business risk is more. And of course, if your scale of operation is less, the business risk is automatically less. If you undertake a risk and you're successful and you complete that particular job, okay, or that particular venture, the reward which you will be getting will be profits. Okay, so remember, profit is a reward for business. So this is business risk all about. We now come to what are the causes, and the causes are very much necessary to know. One is natural causes. There is floods, there is earthquakes and different calamities which can occur. So these are natural causes. Then there are human causes. Okay, for example, the workers decide not to work. They want to go on a strike because their demands have not been fulfilled. Okay, and the talks with the trade union and with the company has not worked out. So these are human causes. They will stop working and the machinery will lay like that. Then you have got economic causes. Economic causes simply can be change in demand. Okay, and change in demand is one of the chief cause, and it could either take your product up or you can take your product down. There are also external causes like political instability, terrorism. You just saw some years back when the terrorists attacked Mumbai, how the Taj Hotel and the Trident Hotel was laid at siege. Okay, and anything like this can happen. Okay, so what are the causes of business risk? One is natural causes, second is human causes, the third is economic causes, and the fourth is external causes. Okay, I now come to the extreme last part of the types of business risk. One is speculative risk. You don't know when it can go up, when it can go down. Okay, so these are speculative risks. I see a demand for certain goods during a festival season. I keep stock of them. If it works out fine, I earn huge profits. But if something happens and there is a certain license which I have not taken, then it is going to give me huge losses. Okay, there are also certain risks which are also known as pure risk, like for example the advent of fire. Fire occurs, okay, and it will destroy your goods. Then there are certain risks which are known as insurable risks. Anything happens to that, anything happens to your goods, it will be compensated by the insurance company. And of course there are certain risks which are uninsurable. So I took you through a journey of different business activities where we learnt about commerce, we learnt about industry, what was the classification of commerce into different subheadings, trade and auxiliaries to trade. Okay, then we learned what is business risk all about. Okay, what are the causes, what are the types, and what happens. So this is your part of your commercial journey in your 11th standard. I hope you have enjoyed every bit of this, in as much as I love to put this forward to you. If you do have questions or do have any queries, do get back to me. I shall be very happy to entertain you. This is Vishwanath Jatan signing off. Thank you so much.